What's up, y'all? Today I wanted to do a quick little tips and tricks video for Gross Beat, just showing how to take it and make beat mashy presets that'll take a sample that you put into it. This is Lontalius's song Zachary sped up a little bit. And that's doing nothing to it, but if I change the thing here, and just do weird little things with it. So I'm not gonna explain how it works much. I'm just gonna kind of go through what my tips are. And the first one is to use it as a beat shifter. So what do I mean by beat shifting? Basically, I'll show how it works in Gross Beat, and then I'll kind of go and show it in a sample so you can get a visualization of what it is. You just kind of put flat lines in here, because if you're doing flat lines, it means that it's playing, you know, quickest explanation I can give is horizontal flat lines means it's playing at 100% speed. Like if this little record was spinning, you're not moving the needle and you're not moving the disc, which is what this is kind of made to do. So flat lines are going to beat shift, which is just playing different points of the sample here. So I'll kind of get a cool one. So it's not that cool, but you get the idea there. It's just changing it, shifting the beats around. That's kind of a better one that I made ahead of time, and I'm probably not even going to use those ones I made ahead of time. But what that's doing is, like, if I took this and like, ooh, it's set to triplets, which is bad, and just went in here and like moved these around. So like I'm playing the first piece, then I'm playing this piece, then I'm playing this piece here, and then I'm moving this piece down to here, you know, something like this. Oh, and that's also getting sent through my Gross Beat, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I didn't mean to do that, but you know, you get the idea. It's just chopping my sample up and moving it around. So that's beat shifting. The next little tip I'll give is stuttering, which, what do I mean by stuttering? If you do a bunch of flat lines in a row, it will stutter that point. So right here, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. Not on that though, on my Lontalius. And as long as you're going down like this safety line here, one thing to note with beat mashing or whatever, beat shifting, is if you put the vertical or the horizontal line below this safety line, that's what their image line's word for. Also, if you need to figure out exactly how this works and you want to know what exactly it's doing, Image Line has a great tutorial on Gross Beat, so go watch that. This one's just more tips and tricks, but if you put it below this line, it's not going to play for the first bar. The other thing that I'll say in my tutorial, which they don't say, maybe they do, but I didn't watch their full tutorial, is all of these horizontal lines here correspond to the vertical line. So like if we wanted to play this first beat here over and over again in a stutter pattern, this is going to do that, right? So it's just playing that first, you know, if you think of it as eighths, this is, or I guess quarter notes of each beat. It's, or 16th note, yeah, so it's quarter notes of each beat. You are putting this first beat here, like if we go up to our sample, you're saying for this quarter note, play over and over again. And the reason that I'm explaining this is because now you know, like if you're ever like, oh, which section is it playing, which you never really need to know, you just need to do what sounds good. For example, like if I play this here, I'm telling Gross Beat to play the, let me see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 8 down, right? That would mean I'm saying to start right here. That means play the first beat position, or play rather this position right here of the beat, which is right here. And I'm going to verify to make sure that I'm not talking out my ass right now. It's saying to play this here, right here. So let's see if that is true. And it's not going to work because it's below the safety line. It'll only play it once it gets to the second half of the bar. So, and let's kind of go in and verify that I'm not on bullshit right now. So this is what I just said it's playing. And let's kind of listen to this. And I'll put the rest below the safety line so it just solos that out. Putting it way down here. There we go. Is that the piece that I said? Yeah, it is. So you see what I'm saying? These vertical lines just correspond to the amount of time that's passed here. So 8 down, is playing that. Don't go below the safety line. Man, I'm taking so much longer to explain this than I meant to. So with that being said, that's the first piece, stutters, which I just showed. Do stuff like this. What I'd recommend with stutters is like get yourself a beat. What would I call that? Get yourself a beat shift that you like. So something like this here. Whoops, let me start this at the beginning. Make yourself a little beat shift that you think sounds cool. And then just insert the stutters where you feel like it would work. So maybe something like this. Yeah, that worked, but thank God, because I've been doing this forever. The other thing too is like if you wanted to stutter the same section, like the logic we've just created here, you need to go down by the same increment. So you need to go horizontally the exact same amount that you've gone vertically. So if we put it on the 12ths, it's gonna sound like dog shit, I bet. You can do that. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Okay, so I'm gonna reset this and we're gonna move forward because I want this to be a short one today. I want to see if it does better in the algorithm, which I'm kind of iffy on. The algorithm, that is, not my logic. My logic is fucking undeniable. It's been that way since I was a baby, thinking about boobies. I always knew they were gonna be tight. Yeah, so reverse is the next tip that I'll give, and this is where we get into some stuff that I'm gonna leave to image line. But basically, if you want to do different shapes, reversing needs to be down further than this line here. So like the shape that you're doing, let me set this to quarters. If you have your line being exactly so a downward slope, but also, is this a 90-degree angle? Yeah, it's a perfect bisection of that. It's not going to play anything because you're basically saying when the record spins, the needle moves with it. Hopefully that makes sense. So if the needle's not passing the record in any direction, nothing comes out. They're both going in identical speeds. That's how that works. So if you do, let me see, what am I doing here? Reverse means it needs to be lower than this line. And let me kind of go past this so you can actually hear the reverse happen. It doesn't need to go lower than the line. Actually, it just needs to be, whatever. Hopefully this is the right shape. Steeper downwards than the line. So steeper than 90 degrees, which should be, you know, so if I'm going 2 over, I need to go 4 down. Hopefully this is a reverse. Please God, let me be right. Yes, thank you. Finally, okay. So that means this would also be a reverse, just of a longer length. And then if you want to do something more interesting or kind of different, you can, let me control these. You can control select multiple points, which is useful because you can also change the curve of multiple points, as you can see here. I don't want to do that though. I want flat lines because flat lines don't bend. We'll get into that in a second. But if you were going to do this, it's going even steeper downwards. So this is the weird territory where I kind of stop understanding what gross beat manual and stuff is saying. This is now going to be reversed, but faster. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So it's taking that last beat and, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Like if we look at this here, it's slipping the record back. Somehow, I'm not getting lost in the weeds. It's going backwards, but faster. So the next little tip I'll give here is for repitching. So if you want to change the pitch of your sample, you want to use the little lines like this. So just to show for starting, basically, I've already said horizontal lines means the record's just going at normal speed or like at the BPM of the track. So if you do it at a 45-degree angle, it means in the distance that 1 bar of audio is playing, I want it to travel only a half of the distance, maybe. I'm probably not right about that, but fucking whatever. It's just pitched down an octave, which makes sense. If the record takes double the time to travel half the distance it normally would, that makes sense in my head to me that this is pitched down an octave, which I know that's right. I'm just trying to make sense of why. Right, that compared to this. I don't want to kind of get bogged down here, so I'll just say always think of it as like perfect rectangles. So if you're going anything other than a perfect square, if you're going 4, then 2 down is going to be down an octave. I guess 8 down is going to be reversed, and then 16 down, which is, you know, 4, that's quadruple it. It should be backwards but fast. Yeah, backwards but faster, which means up an octave. I could keep trying to explain this, but I keep butchering this video by making it super long right here. I don't even know if I understand it correctly. I just know that perfect rectangles tend to work. Also, if you go upwards, it just gets faster and faster. Upwards doesn't like reverse or anything. It just kind of keeps speeding up. And again, you don't ever want to do like, you know, you don't want it to be 4 up and, or I'm sorry, 3 up and 4 over, because then it's going to change the pitch of it, which you can do like this as well and go perfectly in semitones. But if you're, let me see, oops, not down. But if you want the sample to still make sense, as long as it's like already in the key of your track, it's kind of better in my opinion to just go with the perfect squares and rectangles. So that's it for repitch. Hopefully that makes sense. Now let's get into some funner ones, which is bend. So if you want your, and I'm going to stop trying to explain what the record is doing now, because this is the point where it's just like my whole theory of relativity or whatever, of disk relativity falls apart. The one cool thing that I have noticed is the bends tend to follow what the harmonics are doing. So as you can see, it bends down here. And like if we do a long bend like this, it'll start bending at the position that I know it's going to be at, which is halfway through the first bar. But then again, weird shit will happen if you do it that long. So I tend for bends to go not that far down. You know, that tends to be the best thing. And then if you have upward bends, I tend to find that super fast ones work. So I'll go to like a single curve 3, do something like this. And you can even do the same thing downwards. So as you can see, it's just adding like a little pitch scratch right there. So I'll play the bend example I have and kind of move forward. You'll figure out your own techniques to use with this. Let me show this while I do this. And you kind of get those cool like break-ins plunky bends by like doing those quick things. I don't think this is how he does it, but this is a way that you can get something similar. So then the last thing that I'll show is scratch, which this is one of the things from Image Lines tutorial, which is if you, let me go in here and clear this out. And just in case I forgot to mention these 2 tips, you can control and move all your points at once and also change all your angles at once. If you do that, control click does that. And then you can also reset this like this. Don't hit this and hit reset, because that just travels you back to the instant null thing. If you're trying to scratch, you can put in these sweet little half signs. Not half signs, the stairs, not the stairs, the smooth stairs. The third time's the trick. And just the way that I kind of understand this is the number of the stairs that you have is the number of like wooka wooka that happens. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of sounding like it's going won't. And if you do less, it'll be like a slower scratch. But you can make cool little scratch patterns like this doing that. It sounds better without that first scratch for sure. And so that, y'all, hopefully explains some of the stuff. Oh wait, there's one more good tip that I wanted to give. So let me include my little scratch here again and just show one of the best tips for when you're doing, I'll do it on the bend one. You want to go in here and go to your volume envelope, which I have not mentioned at all, but this basically does the exact same thing that I've been showing. Not at all. It's completely different. I don't know why I said that. One of the things that I like to do though is, as you can see on my patches here, they all have an identical thing that's pretty close to or accents the bends. And this is just basic, or not the bends, but like the different shapes in here. So like this one has this volume envelope that goes with it. And you can do just sharp curves like this, because then you can add an attack and a release. Whoa, don't do that. Right here. and change them all at the same time, or you can just kind of customly do this. So if I go in here and I was to make one for the bend, the way that I typically will do this is like listen to the sample. Okay, so it sounds like it pitches down right here, and I might have the first muting of the volume be right here. And then I like to just add points to every beat, what is this called? Beat shift that I have. So every time the beat shifts, I like to add another point. And I'm just going to kind of drag these in here and make them all equally long together. Drag that in, do one here and drag this in. So now I can go in here, control, get rid of my grid here and just drag this back and then change the shape. And then just kind of mess with it a little bit. And it just kind of cleans up some of the stuttery parts. Like also you might want to go in here and get these moved forward a little bit. And add points to the bottom. Whoa, I need to have them on the grid. But yeah, I think that should kind of give enough of an explanation that you get what's going on with grow speed a little better now. So hopefully that helped, and thank you, and I will see y'all in the next one.